Hi, LCMSD families. This is your Superintendent, Brett Geithman.
And Megan Atkins, the district business official. And today we bring to you a presentation as we explore a bond for our facilities. Just as a reminder of our district strategic priorities, in this presentation in the bond, we'll be working on sustaining the fiscal integrity and the stability of our district.
So we recently updated our facility strategic plan. So now it's 2026 through 2036, and I'll give a little history on that. So in 2022, we had a facility strategic plan committee. It met multiple times, representative of a variety of stakeholders, presented that to the board for approval. And so we've been gone ahead and implemented that plan from 2022. So we ended up reconvening because as we've tracked expenditures since that 2022 date, one thing I think that we've all seen throughout our community and probably throughout the nation is an overall increase in materials cost as well as labor costs. And so because of that, as well as some unexpected projects, and that includes some safety mechanisms, specifically taking a look at school fencing, but then also looking at other repairs like major roofing projects that were unexpected or actually more extensive than anticipated. So we ended up reconvening. The initial 2022 plan was a 10 years at 6.672 million. So roughly looking at $670,000 a year. The primary basis of that plan was replacement cycle. So just things that we knew were going to fail, like a roof was going to fail in year X, or windows would need to be replaced in year Y, as well as scheduled maintenance. We've updated those costs. I shouldn't say we, EVB, our director of facilities, has updated those costs by building. And what that brings the new estimated total for the 2026 through 36 strategic facility strategic plan is 15.5 million. Now, again, that includes replacement cycle, ongoing maintenance, but what it also includes is the increase when it comes to building school fencing as well as that major roofing project. So again, we were estimating 670,000 per year. Because of increased costs, we've been trending, close to 1 million a year. So this reflects that increase in overall costs. So when we think about the goals of the plan itself, we have great facilities here at LCMSD, and we want to ensure that they remain great facilities. And that means making sure that we have appropriate replacement cycle, as well as managing our facilities and improving them whenever possible. Additionally, whenever we make improvements, we always take a look at what is that environmental impact and how can we use eco-friendly materials. A lot of principles when it comes to safe school design. Our number one goal is to keep students, staff, and community members safe on our campuses. We know that schools are used, we're the hub of our community. So we're used not only throughout the day for school, but then also the community uses our schools for sporting events and other community events and activities. So we want to make sure that our schools are number one safe. I'm going to jump all the way down to the bottom. One of the things that we've been working on, we had a safety grant, and this is a framework. So CPTED framework, the crime prevention through environmental design, is a national framework to keep our schools safe. This is what we use to make improvements. Again, we also take a look at how can they be flexible spaces, future oriented, and then of course equitable to so that students can get what they need. So now when we think about LCMSD data, here's just a quick snapshot. I'm not going to read through the demographics of the district, but here's what they are in case you are curious. And then if we take a look at it by school, here's a snapshot by school. And you can see we have a number of programs beyond the core. Want to express gratitude to our community support with Spark, as well as the parcel tax. So we do have some additional needs. So as I mentioned, some additional needs popped up when doing the facility strategic plan, and implementing that, and just the overall cost. So on the far left, what you can see is a floor. Now, you might wonder why we took a picture of a floor. Well, two of our cafeteria floors did not meet health inspection requirements. And so we had to replace those floors. And these are some things that have just popped up that we did not anticipate when we wrote the plan in 2022. In those middle two pictures, what those are, that thank you, Dana Swisher and Refugo Marin. That was due to a $300,000 Point Blue grant that has replanted the entire front of Hall Middle School. It looks fantastic, and it's all natural species that will be used as learning spaces for Hall Middle School and Redwood High School. The far right, our Hall Middle School gym hasn't even had a coat of paint since it was built. So we did a gym refresh to make it again an exciting and inviting space. We gather here often, and so does our community. So when we think about the components of this potential bond, one element is safe and secure campuses. We did a lot of research with Hanover Research, as well as Keenan, which is our insurance provider, did an analysis of our sites. The only red flag that they gave us in their report was the fact that our schools are very open and do not have perimeter fences. We engaged in a variety of different community stakeholder events to gather feedback, and it was overwhelming the support and interest in building this perimeter fencing at all campuses. So that is something that would be one of those major projects. But again, other elements of safe and secure campuses, we would continue to advance, looking at ADA compliant pathways, looking at any hazardous conditions on school grounds, making sure that we keep up with paving and those different pieces. Other safe and secure campuses elements, again, we want to make sure that all of our communication systems are up and running, our signage is out, and we have emergency storage. Another component too, sorry, I want to point out bullet number 3 is because our schools do serve as a hub of the community. If there were any sort of natural disaster, our gyms would actually be used as a place for the community to gather. So we would want to make sure that we had battery storage there. So in the event that power is out, we can have power and thus, ensure that medical devices and those things are up and running.
Then we're looking at the essential repairs, and this is the bulk of our budget. This is just to keep our campuses clean and maintained, our HVAC systems, improving our plumbing infrastructure, as well as our aging pipes. We know that we had the pipe break last year at Neil Cummins, repairing our leaky roofs, improving our cafeteria facilities, as well as just daily functionality across all of our campuses. We would also like to look at smart and sustainable schools. So again, we talked about the solar power backup batteries, possible EV charging stations, improving our drainage. We saw this was an issue last week with our flooding, as well as potentially rising sea levels and raising our campuses. We would also like to look at STEM and modernizing our education. So upgrading our STEM labs on all 3 campuses, updating our music hall, and again, across the whole all the district, upgrading our classroom technology, Wi-Fi, modems, and modernizing our tech infrastructure.
We'd also like to take a look at our sports and athletics facilities. One thing I can point out, a lot of the community really uses that turf field in the back of Hall Middle School. That's coming on 9 years. The life of a turf field is 8 to 10. They've also made significant improvements in filler options, and so we'd want to explore those and ensure that our field is safe, but then also uses those more sustainable type of materials. There's a lot of other options we can take a look at as well, ensuring that, again, ADA compliant bleachers, ramps, and walkways. And then one high interest of ours is accessible playgrounds, so that we have inclusive playgrounds for all of our students, so that everyone can participate and play at our schools. So a number of options there.
So today we bring this presentation to you. As we saw from the beginning, Dr. Greithman showed us that our expenditures moved from $6 million to $15 million, and how can we afford that? So look at our current budget options. We do have about $4.6 million in our Fund 35, but we know that that will not sustain us over the 10 years of this plan. Also, annually by EDCO, we contribute 3% of our general fund to our routine maintenance, which is approximately $831,000 each year. However, that right now is not enough to cover just our maintenance. So each year we're contributing $150,000 to $170,000 for routine maintenance. And just to put that in perspective, that's a teacher. So if we were able to raise additional funds, this money could be returned to the general fund to support program and student learning. So this is just an overview again of our 3%. However, in November of 2024, the state did pass Prop 2. So we've looked into it, and at the time we were eligible for $7.9 million in state funding from Prop 2 towards facility DSA projects. However, in order to access that 7.9 million, we have to contribute 5.27 million, which you see at this time, we do not have that money. So right now we're walking away from 7.9 million unless we can raise our matching funds. So again, that comes today in our discussion around a potential bond in the future. Dr. Greithman is going to tell us a little bit about our last parcel tax and bond, and just the fiscal contributions from the district.
Yeah, so during 2021 school year, what we ended up doing, we all know obviously that was a height of COVID, but we did see interest rates drop. And so one of our goals was to take advantage of that and save taxpayers roughly $6.8 million in the refinance of all of those bonds. So we bring that up because one of the things that it's really important for us to stress is that we have a strong responsibility and are deeply committed to supporting our community schools. Not only are we looking out to refinance bonds, but we also seek out grant funding that we've received for other safety measures. We recently received $900,000 for safety. And so we're constantly looking at ways to maximize resources and be protective of those public funds. So we were able to refinance those. And I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Atkins, to close us out for today.
Thank you. So today we are moving forward. We will be seeking input and approval from our Board of Education in February for a potential bond extension on the June 2nd, 2026 ballot. What a bond extension does is it does not increase the current tax rate. So we have a bond, Measure A from 2000, that will be rolling off the taxes in the year 2030. If a bond extension were to pass, that rate would continue on for an additional 30 years at $24.10, raising a potential $44 million for the district that we could put toward these projects. So if we looked at about 10-year snapshot, $15 million. So if we look at the life cycle of the bond, 30 years, projecting out about $45 million would need to continue all of our projects throughout the next 30 years. So that is what we are going to be seeking approval from the Board of Education, and then hopefully support from our community. Again, this is just a review, so it's $24.10 per $100,000 of assessed value. We are considering placing it on the June 2nd, 2026 ballot. Greithman, do you want to close us out?
Sounds good. So thank you again for watching this. If you only remember a few things from this video, please remember LCMSD refinance bonds, saving taxpayers $6.8 million. We're looking at a bond extension. So we have a bond that is concluding at 2030. We're looking at simply extending that bond. If we are able to extend that bond, we also unlock $7.9 million of state funding. Without that bond, we cannot secure. Again, this is all about safe schools, improving and sustaining our school environment here, and we really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Thank you.
Thank you.